Hello and welcome to my Agate Temptation First Impressions review. My name is Alex, welcome to my channel. If you're new around here, we like to talk about grungy makeup, project planning, and we do the occasional vlog too, so if any of those sound like a good time to you, please stick around. In this video, I thought I would try something different. I'm going to do a first impressions of Singe Beauty's new palette, Agate Temptation. Now, I know the YouTube makeup market is so saturated with palette reviews and people who can probably do makeup 10 times better than me and people who can review 10 times better than me. I know they're out there, I watch them. However, I have noticed that there's a little bit of a gap in that there's not really anyone with my skin tone doing reviews on UK indie and when they can get it American indie makeup. And so I'm not seeing swatches or feedback on those palettes on skin like mine, and it's making it a little bit difficult for me to make decisions on whether I want to buy palettes or not. So I thought I could be that person that I'm looking for, and because I'm sure if there's me, there must be lots of other people who are really into it, UK indie makeup, but they're not sure about how certain shades are going to work on their skin. I just thought I would give it a go this time. I've got a few more palettes coming that are actually UK palettes. I know that this is a American brand, but Singe Beauty had a sale on a couple of weeks ago, which kind of worked out that postage was free with the things that I got. So that kind of made it worth it. The one thing that I would like to mention is I was a little bit underwhelmed by the quality of the packaging. I do think it gives a little bit like year 10 designer poster, but I'm not sure, like within the nicest possible way. I don't want to throw any shade towards Angie and the palette. I think you'll see in the video that I enjoy it very, very much. The quality is very, very good, and just because the design's not to my taste doesn't mean that what's inside doesn't count at all, because it does. And I'm just going to show you quickly inside. I'm sure that I do at the end as well anyway, but this is basically my dream colour story. We've got our grungy greens and we've got our warm toned spicy-ish neutrals, and that's all I've ever dreamed of from a palette. So yeah, it's got a mirror in it, which I'm trying not to blind you with. That is the palette, and I'm so excited to get into showing you how I created this look with it. Hi, I am so excited to get into this palette. As much as I really want to get into those mucky yucky greens and yellows, I'm going to try and make a really dark dramatic look with this palette first. I'm going to start with my eyeshadow primer, which is the NYX Shadow and Liner Primer. The NYX Ultimate Shadow and Liner Primer, I think it's called. Try not to go too crazy with my primer, just because I do have hooded lids already, and my lids are getting to a grand age now, and they're very wrinkly and crepey. So I tend to find too much eye primer is actually a bad thing. So I try and just do 2 little dabs on each eye. There we go. And now we're going to go in with the stunning Singe palette. We're going to try for something really dark and smoky and dramatic. So we're going to start off with the Spectrum A07 brush, and we're going to go into the shade Plume, one of the darkest, deepest shades in the palette, and we're just going to pack this in all over the lid. Look at that. And you can see that that is going to blend like a dream already as well. Because I have hooded lids, if I leave the blend like that, when I open my eye, there's no blend above my hood. So I will take that all the way up to my hood. So I might need to swap out to a different brush just to get a little bit more precision. So I'm just going to go into Plume with this brush from the Blend Bunny and Lynn's Makeup Looks collab. I'm just going to lightly trace where my hood starts, and I'm just going to follow that, keeping my lid relaxed. I'm just going to follow that all the way around. So we should end up somewhere like that, so you can just see that the the shadow is just peeking out over my crease, but my whole lid is saturated in the shade. That shadow has just gone on so beautifully with so much depth straight away. I didn't doubt that the quality of this palette was going to be stunning. So now I'm just going to take the same shade, that Plume, and just run it really close to just along the lower lash line. It's not a dark, smoky, dramatic palette, and to look at it to start with, I just think it's the ultimate testament to a palette's versatility if you can create a thing that when you look at it you don't even think of that thing. This is my second look of the day, so my eyes do tend to get a bit leaky if I try and do 2 looks in one day. So I'm just going to go in and just perfect a few little bits. The lid itself, I'm not actually that bothered if it's not totally covered, just because we are going to go in with a shimmer on the lid anyway. Just going to take a little bit more of a fluffy brush now. This is the Real Techniques, I think it just says base eyeshadow brush. So sometimes I don't really like when it tells you what to do on the brush, because like I just said, there are no rules. I'm just going in with the shade Geode there. So just working our way down the greens, and we're just going to fluff along the edge of that look. So I'm going to have to close my lid a bit, and we're just fluffing along the edge to create some more smokiness. And my god, the blend, the easiness with which the blend is taking place is insane. Like, wow. Nothing should blend that easily. That is insanely good. It's doing all of the hard work for me. I mean, there's no such thing, but I almost feel like it's blending too much. And then we're just going to go as tight to the bottom as this fluffier brush will allow. We're kind of working our way into a slight wing shape. I actually can't believe how seamless and easy that blend was. I barely tickled it with the brush, so fair play to Angie. And that is looking so good. I'm so pleased with it. Honestly, the blend was just too easy, so I've just evened up the other eye. I'm now going in with the Lin's Makeup Looks and Blend Bunny collab brush. That is really hard to say. L04, and I'm just going into Chalcedony. Shoot me if I'm wrong. Who names a shade after whatever that is? And now I'm just going to buff this into the very perimeter of this look. And I'm being ever so gentle because, like I was saying, these shades don't need me here to do any blending. They're going to blend themselves whether I like it or not. I'm being pretty careful. Look at that. That is the easiest smoky eye anyone has ever achieved in the history of smoky eyes. I want to keep the blend quite tight because I don't want it to touch my eyebrow before it's faded out. I don't really like when my eyeshadow touches my eyebrow. I think because I've got quite a heavy brow anyway, when my eyeshadow touches my eyebrow it sort of drags it down a little bit. We've gone around the whole perimeter of the eye with the lightest shade and blended that out. And then if I close my eyes, you can see that the blend starts just above my crease. My whole lid has just got that darker shade packed onto it, and then I've started the blend above my crease, so I still get that like smoky eye effect. Whereas if I'd started the blend here, which is on the bit of my lid that covers my eye, which I think most people would do if they don't have hooded lids, it would just cover up all of the blend work, and then as the eye presses together throughout the day or night, it would just melt together and you'd just get a big muddy mess anyway. Don't let your hooded lids hold you back. You can achieve most looks that you can achieve with hooded lids that you can without. So I'm just going to go in with a little shimmer now, and I think it's going to have to be Quartz, which is this just super sparkly green shade here. And we're just going to press that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. We're just going to press that into the lid, like so. Oh my god. And then blend that into the dark matte. That is one of the best things I've ever seen. The sparkliness. Oh, that is so sparkly, so easy to blend out, and it just melts into that matte perfectly. Angelica really did the thing when she made this palette. Wow. I haven't tried, I might already mention it in the intro, but I haven't tried her Intergalactic Visitor palette. It's now sold out on her website, and I don't know if she will restock it, because I know she's talked about the costs of restocking palettes. I haven't tried it just because the colour story wasn't 100% me, but now I wish that I had tried it. I will be definitely looking out for her future palettes. Shall we do a little bit of crystallized on the bottom, just in this little pocket here, or shall we do quartz? This is a first impressions, so let's go crazy. Let's do a bit of crystallized. So I'm just going to take this same brush. Oh yeah, we made the correct decision. We made the correct decision. So that's more of like an iridescent shade instead of a sparkle, and it is still so beautiful. And that little bit of like fiery shift, I think it blends in with my skin tone, so it both complements my skin tone and it complements the look perfectly. It does take a little bit more building up. And I do think that may be slightly due to my skin tone. One, because the shift is similar to my skin tone, so it probably is there, I just can't see it. And also, just because iridescents tend to be a bit more delicate, I find that I have to layer them a little bit on my skin tone. However, everything else that I've used, like that Chalcedony, if that's how you say it, has worked perfectly well on my eyes. I remember watching Angelica play with this palette herself and using that shade as an inner corner highlight, and I was just like, on me that could never. The way it just went on like butter, I was just like, on me that is not going to happen. But I think that would actually happen if I did that. I am convinced. A little bit of extra sparkle never goes amiss. And then I'm just going to wipe that brush off, and I'm just going to then go in with translucent, which is this sort of silvery iridescent shade. I think it might have a bit of a green, yeah, it's got a bit of a green flip to it, and maybe some more of that peachy flip to it as well, because I know that Angie said she likes all of her colours to and their flips to all mean something to each other in the palette. So let's just go in with that right in the inner corner. Oh my god, look at that. This is too good. This is too good. This is too good for me. I've just never worked with colours that are so light and so impactful. Cosmic brushes are kind of on this level, but as you might know if you've watched some of my other videos, I do have a little bit of beef with one of their pink shades at the minute. But wow, I am so impressed. So I'm just gonna whack on some mascara and then I'll come back and maybe do my lips with you. Okay, so I've just thrown on some black liner and mascara, and I've waterlined, tight lined, and then done mascara. I think for lips we're gonna go for a brown lip. Brown and green cannot be beaten. Brown and green should always be seen. So I'm just going to use this Beauty Bay lip liner in the shade Vintage. The temptation to talk while you're lining your lips is too real. Okay, so we've got that liner down and slightly blurred out. We're going to go in with the Melt Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Lose My Shit. I was tempted to go in with the wing liner. I think I did comment earlier that if you know me, I'm going to go in with the wing liner. And though I do think a winged liner, like a huge dramatic wing, would be fantastic on this look, I want to let the eyeshadows speak for themselves on this occasion. This is my first time doing a video like this, so I thought maybe not cover up my work with a wing. This is the completed look. Yeah, tell me what you think. I will zoom out now and I'll let you know what I thought of the palette. I'm so pleasantly surprised by this palette. It is so stunning. I trust in Angie's integrity. I think there was no way she would have delivered us a low quality palette, but I was just seeing it rank sort of middle ground, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not as good as I thought. But I just think there's so many huge American palette focused makeup brands out there creating these amazing palettes that we don't really have access here into the UK unless we want to pay £1 million in postage and customs fees, etc. So I guess they're just all sort of outperforming this, but as a reflection of the market available here in the UK, this was stunning, 10 out of 10, no notes. And I do also think this colour story is totally a bit of me as well. It's just, I love grungy greens, tick, and I love warm neutrals, tick. Like, that is everything that I've ever wanted in a palette. The mattes were just so easy to blend out. They perform so amazingly well. The only other formula that I can compare it to is Cosmic Brushes with that ease of the blend. It was just sensational. I love all the different types of shimmers in here. I love how sparkly and dimensional this is. I love how soft and shifty this is and how they have the different effects. I just think all in all it's such a good palette and so well rounded. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different for me. I just thought I would give it a try. I've got a few other palettes in the pipeline, so I might be doing a few similar videos to this, so let me know if it's something that you'd be interested in. But thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, or subscribe if you want to. I'd love to have you here. I upload every Monday. If people are interested in seeing more palette focused content, I will look to produce maybe 2 videos a week instead. Thank you so much for watching, and take care until I see you next time.